Okay, you're on. Hi, guys.
Hi, everybody. Nobody's on here yet, but I always start my lives the same. Hi, everybody. Lori here from Unique in the Creek. Let's get it up here so I can see everybody's comments. I don't see where I'm live yet. Let's refresh.
Oh, there's two people on here.
There we
Debbie's
go.
on.
Oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Hi, Jeanette. Brenda, Luana,
That's your phone that's on there.
Vicky. My phone's on?
Yeah, that's the sound on your phone.
Oh. Okay, there we go. Hey, Jana. Carla Taylor. Oh, see, the bird's got to start. You don't hear a peep from the thing until we start live all the time. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Tammy Batterson. Libby. Hi, everybody. Hi, Patsy. How are you? So, tonight I am going to do... Oh, I just locked my zip tie without even knowing. Tonight I'm going to do a rose on our new small board. We had many requests from our crafty creekers for a smaller flower board. So you can make a smaller flower, you know, for retirement homes or hospitals or wherever. So it's done the exact same way, but the holes on the outside are just a little bit different. So I'm just going to show you guys how I am going to do it. I've done one with it already. You guys seen the buffalo check one I did. And that one of them was on the small frame and one was on the large frame. Personally, I like the large. It's just me, especially for a front door. It makes a bigger wow factor. But the small flower is really good, like I said, for, you know, a nursery. If you want to do a nice pink rose for a nursery, or to do, you know, like a flower wall in a child's bedroom or whatever, that would look really cute. So you can do all kinds of things with these.
Yes, they are available now.
Yes, they are available on our website. They're $6.50. They're not available on Amazon, as we are still manufacturing them ourselves. They should probably by the spring, we're hoping. I feel it's a little small for a front door. I think I said that already, but that's totally up to your judgment.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Yes, they are available on our website. So we're going to make it the same. I'm going to make a Christmas rose. I'm making a white. I'm on with the snowball mesh these days. I don't know why. This snowball mesh, though, that I'm using tonight is just the plain snowball mesh. There's no metallic or iridescent running through it. I'm going to keep it simple. But I think for the green leaves, remember these picks I bought and made a Christmas tree with? Well, I have some still left over, and I thought these will be beautiful going along the outside of the rose to make it more Christmassy. So, of course, in my mind, it's going to work out perfect. We'll see how it looks when I'm done. So,
and I've been told to be good again tonight.
Yeah,
so.
He's being good tonight because I'm going to be using this for a tutorial. So I'm going to direct people when they buy the small board to this tutorial.
Doesn't mean I can't talk. I just can't.
Just trying to kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, but I'll still be answering questions and everything.
Yes. So, hey, Jeannie. Jeannie's on.
Hi, Jeannie.
Okay. First, I'm going to murder the bird. Anyways. So, like I said, I'm going to do...
Why aren't you CC?
Why aren't you CC? Huh?
Closed caption.
I don't know. We are on our YouTube channel. I'm not sure about Facebook Lives. But the rose, I'm going to cut the petals exactly the same. So I'm going to do the whole 9 inches again like I always do for the rose. Now, this rose, you definitely only need one roll of mesh, even with using the 4 center holes, okay?
I'm going to, Michelle. I don't want you calling me by my middle name.
No, don't call him by his middle name.
Are we going down?
Yep, we're going down, honey.
You're going to have to pull it towards you more.
Okay. Well, why do you got the camera so close?
you want me to pull the camera back?
No, it's okay. As long as they can see pretty good. Okay, so I'm using this white deco mesh, snowball deco mesh, and it's 10 inches. Actually, I think this one's 10 and a half. I'm not sure why, but normally, I think they're normally 10 inches. And I'm going to cut them 9 inches in length. And since you don't see the edges when you make the rose, I'm not worrying about fraying, okay? Hi, Sonia Miller. Oh, I love the picture you posted with the colored background on your Junk Monkey page. It's beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in 9-inch pieces. And like I said, you don't see the edges, so you don't have to worry about any of the fraying when you're making the rose, okay? So I have electric scissors, and I like to cut a whole bunch of my mesh all at the same time. You can do this with normal scissors. You just wouldn't be able to flip it over as many times. So what I do is I got a piece of foam cardboard, or foam board it is, and it's exactly 9 inches in length. So I put it on top of my mesh and I flip it over. Now make sure it's all lined up. So
Pull the camera back a bit.
okay, so you have your pieces. Now you're just gonna grab the bottom, hold it, and flip it over again. And then just keep flipping it over. I flip it over about 6 times, but like I said, I am using electric scissors.
Sonia's here to watch her work her magic.
Oh, thanks, Sonia. I know, I was watching her making these stools today. They are gorgeous stools. Alright, so I got my handy dandy scissors, and again, I get them on Amazon. Because I get them. I've been using electric scissors for years now, and everybody wants to know where I get them. And it's really bad branding, and I've said that a million times. These I've had for about 3 years now, and I have no idea who makes them, so that's really bad branding. But I believe there's pink ones and stuff on Amazon now. But they're great. You just cut it off the roll. Okay? And now I'm going to cut down the side. I think they need to be charged. I had them charging 5 minutes ago. I just put them on the charger. And then you flip it over and cut the other side. Yeah, they're dying.
Sorry for the adjustments, but it wouldn't be Dave and Lori's show without me doing adjustments.
At least the camera's not falling. I got to put my scissors on the charger.
There we go.
Anyways, so I cut quite a few pieces all at once. So, you know, time is money, so if you can do it fast, you take any shortcut you can.
Glasgow, Scotland, sorry.
So that is how I cut all my mesh, okay? So you won't need quite a full roll. Now, I pre-did my zip ties on my board already. Now, I'm using white mesh, so I'm going to use the white side. If you're using any other color mesh, even if you were using white mesh, you could use the natural side. Now, with our plastic boards, our first run of plastic boards were quite dark. And that's why, because we had to get them made really fast for the convention. And because they are made with recycled plastic, they're actually 100% recycled plastic, and they are recyclable. So, you could, if you were done with your wreath and it was time to put it in the trash, you could put the frame actually in your plastic recycling. So, we're quite proud of being green, which is odd that it costs more money to use recycled plastic, but we're still doing our part, so we'll pay the extra little bit of money to use the other. Anyways, the dark, it's not dark anymore. It's a really light taupe color. So if you're buying it from Amazon, that is what color you're getting, and the rest of them will be that color. So our first run, like I said, was a bit dark. If you were using white, I did a quick light spray paint of the plastic Tremclad, worked perfectly. So if you did happen to get the darker board. But it does work, no problem. So I've pre-done my zip ties, so all the holes. Okay, so for the rose, we're going to start in the middle, and we start in the middle and make our bud. So these 4, and then the outer 8 are going to be forming like more of the center of the bud. And then as we work out they kind of conform on top of each other and push each other in and form that rose formation. So it's quite easy. I do roses on my lap all the time. I do them in the car, everything. If you have your mesh pre-cut, you know, stick it in a bag with some zip ties and a few boards, and if you're going on a road trip, make some flowers on your way. So to make the petal, it's the same for every petal on here. So I got my 9" by 10" piece of mesh. Okay, and it's got this natural curl to it. So we want to keep the natural curl upwards. And now you're going to turn it into a diamond shape. I guess I should have put something on the... Here's my pink cutting mat. Are you still figuring out something over there?
I'm going to put a little mark on the table where the camera is so you can put the board.
Anyways, you're going to turn your mesh into a diamond shape. Okay, you're going to take the top corner and bring that and match it down to the bottom corner. And then you're going to scrunch up about 1 inch. You're leaving about 1 inch of a tail there. Okay, and you make this umbrella formation on your...
Sorry, people.
Can't you just move the camera?
Well, I could.
That would be much easier than me having a
Well, you think you just go back and forth all the time.
Well, you have the camera really close.
Okay.
Always technical difficulties with this show. Anyways, okay, so I have my umbrella formation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tail of this umbrella and I'm going to slip it through the zip tie. Okay? And now I'm just going to pull the zip tie nice and tight. Okay? Oh, sorry, I did that one wrong.
Sorry, people. I hope you're not getting seasick on me. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Rewind. That's my rewind button. So how is everybody?
Probably dizzy from me playing with the camera.
Hi, my friend. My best BFF is on watching me. Anyways, so okay, we made the umbrella thing again. I wasn't thinking. And the tail is going outwards. So all the tails are going to go outwards except every other one on the outside. And we'll get to that in a few moments. So I'm sticking this in the zip tie and tightening it up. Okay, that's much better. Now, you cut your tails as you go. I like to do that so I don't forget. Okay, again, got your mesh. You're going to turn it into a diamond shape. Bring the top corner down. Just swing it to the side here and make your tail. Like I said, you can even make a mark on the surface you have, just so you have the same size tail for each one. I just kind of guesstimate because you can't really tell. And then again, you're going to insert it with the tail going towards the outside of the board, okay? And zip it up nice and tight. Ooh, this is going to look pretty. And then this for the outside, how gorgeous is that going to be? Wow, I can't wait. Okay. And I guess everybody really liked my penguin wreath from last night. Holy boy. I'm so glad. It did turn out really, really cute. I am making a rose. Actually, I'll call it a Christmas rose because I'm using snowball mesh on our new smaller board. Now, our new smaller board is only available on the Unique in the Creek website right now. It's not on Amazon, but we hope to have it on Amazon in the spring. Okay, so I have one more hole in my section of 4, and then I'm going to start to form the rosebud. Now, once you do one of these, you'll find you only have to watch the tutorial once. Because it's that easy. So again, I'm bringing this tail outwards. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult to start seeing what I'm doing, but I'm doing the exact same thing for every hole. Right now, I'm going to form the bud.
Trendy tree is here.
Hi, Trendy Tree. So I'm going to just pick any petal you want. It doesn't matter where you start. You're just going to kind of roll your first one in on itself. Okay, so you're going to hold. Now you can put a little bit of dab of the hot glue if you'd like. It just makes it a little easier, like little tiny dab. I just plug mine in so it's not the hottest. And you can just hold that. Now, we are going to form the rest of the petals going around that bud. And when we start adding more and more petals, they start, like I said, building on each other and holding each other in. And then when we get to the outside ones and get it finished, it all comes together. It's really quite cool how it does that. It's magic. Okay. Now, a few times I've taught it different ways. Now, you will find the niche that you like to use, okay? I've shown roses being tied in the center with just a piece of like baker's twine to hold the bud together. I've done a zip tie going around it. I've done one with absolutely nothing around it. And this one I'm going to just do with a little bit of hot glue. Now, I don't normally do the hot glue because, like I teach a lot of workshops. Well, I used to teach a lot of workshops. And you don't want people that are not crafty working with hot glue. There is liability. So that's why I started teaching with using the string, just tying a piece of string around the bud to hold it nice like this. But if you're just doing this for yourself, you can, and you have a hot glue gun, most definitely you use the hot glue gun, okay? I've come to learn, because I'm so used to teaching like I teach in my workshops, that it just becomes habit. So I've always tied the center. Now that I'm not actually teaching workshops, I can actually use the hot glue. So for those of you that are planning on teaching workshops, especially in the spring, because this is going to be huge in the spring, I'm telling you guys, like this is going to go bananas. You'll want to use string, okay? Again, you're going to get people in your workshop that have no idea. Oh, this is not, my glue gun is not the hottest right this second. You're going to have people not the craftiest. And you don't want to be giving them a glue gun in their hand, that's for sure. I'm just going to use my normal trick and just hold this with a clothespin together. Okay, so we're going to leave the bud. So now we're going to continue on this next section. So on the plastic boards, you'll notice that the flower frame, that they are numbered. So they go from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is for teaching purposes, because when I was doing workshops, instead of trying to tell people, okay, we're going on this circumference, and you're standing in front of a class of 100, trying to show which circumference you're on, I decided if I put actual indentations are going around each circle or each circumference and number them, we can say, okay, we're working on circumference 5. It works wonderfully. So if you're wondering why there's numbers on there, that is why. So, and they're good for when you're making your own pattern, because there is so many flowers that you can make. Like what I do is I just sit and look at a real picture of a flower, and then I play around with mesh to see if I can mimic the petal that flower is making.
How many rolls of mesh and squares do you need?
You need 1 roll of 10-inch mesh, and we have 36 pieces. So 36 pieces of 10-inch, it's a 10-inch roll, and I cut them at 9 inches long, or 9 inches wide, whatever. And you're not going to use a full roll. So pretty much 2 rolls of 10-inch deco mesh will make you 3 little roses. Okay, so you're just going to keep adding petals exactly like this. You just found out.
I already answered.
Oh, did you think so? Now we have over, we got to be over 50 tutorials on our YouTube page. Now, mind you, most of the tutorials are Facebook Lives. And pretty much a lot of you that watch me all the time could probably agree that you always learn something new on my tutorials. I'm always something different. So,
and just some of the tutorials are kind of crazy.
yeah, some of the tutorials get a little bit crazy. We're a little cray-cray. We like to have fun. We have fun all the time, but we also teach as well. So if you can get past our laughing, and tonight is very calm. And I told Dave we had to be calm because I did want people to make sure that they learned and they got the gist. So it is like the same, like the larger rose. You just use less mesh, and of course you're going to make a smaller rose. Now, you wouldn't be able to use 21 inch on the small frame. It's just too close together. We had to move the holes and manipulate some of the stuff to make the board smaller and to make it, you know, so that you could make different flowers on it. Like I said, this is perfect for, you know, the retirement homes and nurseries and stuff like that. I would personally want the big rose on my front door. You know, you got to make a wow statement. So you just keep folding these around each other. And once you pull the zip ties out, they kind of hold it in. So as you start adding more and more petals, it will all start bunched together. I think I could take that off now. This is going to be very pretty Christmas rose, especially when I put the greenery on. So I did have snowball mesh that had metallic stripes in it, and I think I've done I did a rose. Actually, me and you did the roses, didn't we?
What did I do? I don't know.
You did we both did white roses, I think. Anyways, but I'm going to put this pick in there, and that is just going to look, oh my gosh, that's going to look so beautiful. So I'll put that greenery around. So I know it's really hard to see what I'm doing, so I'll just push this back, and I'm still going on this circle, this circumference all the way around.
Where's the mesh that your husband did? I guess she's talking about the buffalo mesh.
Where can I get the boards and that beautiful mesh your husband did? Are you talking about the buffalo check mesh? Susan, I always do 9 inches because, well, I'm frugal. Let's put it that way. I'm very frugal, and I find no reason to do 10 by 10. It's just kind of wasting mesh. And when you do the rose, well, when I first started doing the rose, and I didn't have the very 4 circles in the center, and I would just do, so these holes here were not there. So these holes were the ones that formed my bud, and it worked perfectly. We did add these ones because you can then add, like if you're doing a sunflower, you can make the center of your sunflower right on the board. You wouldn't have to add like an extra piece, like a center or anything. But then for the rose, I just started making the bud from there too. But when I didn't have these 4 holes, I could do the big rose with 1 roll of 10-inch deco mesh cut at 9 inches. So because it didn't really matter when I was making the rose if it was 9 inches or 10 inches, I felt the extra inch was just a waste because I would have to open another another roll of 10-inch. So that is the reasoning that I cut everything at 9 inches because I'm cheap, basically. And you really can't tell, really, because all you're seeing is the top part of the mesh folded. So that's why I say right at the beginning, when you're making your rose, there's no need to use a wood cutter or a wood burner. Lots of people I know use wood burners, and that's fine, like for the sunflower and stuff like that, where you may see the edges and stuff. But for the rose, you don't see any of the edges because you just see the folded part of the rose. So there's no need for that. Plus, I'm not a big fan of burning plastic, so I think everybody knows that. It's not good for your health. Okay, so I'm going to go around and make sure all my tails are cut. Okay, and this is going to be our back, so you don't even have to cover up the back whatsoever. What's nice about ours is you can get your little round stickers made with your business name or something on it, and you can actually put a sticker on the back. That way, when somebody comes, you know, if they bought your rose at a craft sale, and somebody comes through the door and says, hey, where did you get that? And, you know, they'll be like, oh, I bought it at a craft show, but I can't remember who it was. They'll just flip their rose over, and there's your business card or your sticker right on the back.
Was
that
roll of mesh 10 or 30 yards?
Pardon?
That roll of mesh, was it 10 yards or 30 yards?
They're 10 by 10 yards. I don't think they sell 30-yard mesh. Ribbons, maybe. So, yeah, I hope I answered that question. But yeah, that's the nice thing about our boards as well. And another thing is that a really big seller about our boards is they fit, any wreath you make will fit between two doors. Now, I do realize in the South it may not be a big deal because, you know, they probably don't have, you know, Texas and everything make these huge, ginormous Texas-sized wreaths. When you get more up north where we are, a lot of people, well, most people have storm doors. So we can't make those big Texas-sized wreaths because they won't fit between the doors. And then you get customers complaining they can't put their wreath up because it's squished. So that was one of my reasonings of coming up with this board as well, was so we could hang really nice wreaths even though we have a, you know, a glass door or what are they called? What are they called, honey? Storm doors or storm door? So.
Mesh that looks like. People want to know about the. I think she's talking about the picks you made this tree with.
Mesh that looks like snow. It was white, and the snow you put on the tree. How does it stay on?
I think she's talking about with the tree made with the picks.
Are you talking about the Christmas tree I made with the picks, April? It's these picks. I made it, I think, was it last week or the week before? I got these picks at AC Moore. They were like 35 cents. I got them at a really good sale. But if you've seen a Facebook Live, it will be on our YouTube channel. And my assistant has nicely categorized all my all our tutorials or videos on our YouTube channel so that you can find what you're looking for. So you just look for the picture that you're trying to, you know, recreate, and click on that picture and the tutorial will come up.
Just quickly brief why you changed the direction of your...
Okay, I changed the direction of the holes. Now this has been a... Keep in mind, people, we've only been in business... Now, I've been using these boards for 3 years. And we've only been in business in the United States for, I think it's coming on 7 months now. So it's been a process. Now, we couldn't sell to the United States until, you know, we got all our I's dotted. But when I first initially started the board, I did have the holes the other way. And I started making, so when I made the flower board, I usually only made sunflowers and roses. And that's pretty much all I made on the board. And I found, was playing around, that I could do all kinds of other flowers, like the gerbera daisy and the daffodil and the mum and all kinds of stuff. But I found that, and I'll show you why I changed the directions of the hole. And for instance, this rose. If I didn't change the directions of the holes, we would have to do the rose just like we were doing right here, okay? Then you would have to put a zip tie on the bottom of the petal, okay? Now this is just demonstrating. We don't have it like this anymore, okay? So you would do almost all the flowers like this, and then you would have to put another zip tie through this zip tie, and then you would zip it on the board. So you were using double the zip ties, and it took a lot more time because it took you time to put that other zip tie on. And as I was making more and more different flowers, I thought to myself, like, why don't I just turn the holes? It was just one of those aha moments that you just, you know, it just clicks. It's like, oh man, I could have done that. Well, I sat on the fence for a while about it. And when we finally decided that we were going to get the molds made, which are very, very expensive, it was either I have to do it now or never, not at all. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to change the holes now and save everybody supplies, time. I know I had to reteach everybody, but it was just, it's exactly the same. You just cut out the bottom zip tie now. What are you trying to say?
Well, that was a nice story, but I think she was talking about the direction of the zip ties.
Oh. Oh, just because I seen somebody do it on a live, they were making... It was one of those things again. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I know I used to do the zip ties where the heads fit into the bottom, and you would snip off the zip ties. But I think I can't... Kathy's Wreath Creations, I think it was. She was doing the zip ties like I'm doing. And she didn't have to keep flipping the board over, and then there's nothing sharp on the back, and you don't see the zip tie heads. And I'm like, that's brilliant. So something just simple like that one of my customers did on a live actually taught me. And I've been getting taught a lot of things. You know, people are sharing their ideas because they're using it more and more, and just things that I haven't thought of, they're thinking of, and then they share them. So it's absolutely fabulous that everybody does that. We have a great community in Unique in the Creek. It's just everybody helps everybody. We actually have a Facebook page, Unique Wreath Makers and Workshops, and that is just dedicated for Unique in the Creek wreath makers that share all their pictures and how they did stuff. And the stuff that is being made is just blowing my mind. Like, you know, and I say this all the time. I'm good with coming up with ideas. I'm not the greatest wreath maker. I really am not. I have some good ideas and coming up with good ideas to start them, but then once, you know, I just kind of give the tools and then people go with it, which is awesome because I love to learn too, and I learn all kinds of things. Like, I've been wreathing for many, many years. I've been teaching workshops for almost 5 years now. Well, I don't teach anymore. That's sad, but my back is just not allowing me anymore. So for me to continue learning, it's just amazing. So I hope I answered that question, but now there's nothing sharp on the back. There's no need to cover the back. There's no mess. Like I said, you put your sticker or stamp or whatever with your business name on there. I didn't put my hanging hole. I didn't put my string in for my hanging hole. Hold on. So there's 2 holes. Now on the plastic boards, they are beveled or chamfered, as Dave says it, into the board. But on this board, they're just kind of catty-wonky. Like, they don't belong anywhere. Those are the hanging holes. So you just put a string or a twine through one end, put the other through the other end, and just tie a knot in it. And there's your string to hang it. If I could actually make a knot. My hands are so dry from this cold weather. There we go. And then just cut the excess string off. Okay, so we're almost done. So then you can go around. Now when you're finished, we're going to go around and tuck in on the corners. So they kind of, some of them like to pop up. I've learned from others that they just go around when they're finished the rows and put a dab of hot glue. And that makes, especially when they're selling it, that makes the corners always stay in. So, you know, the customer doesn't have to go and put their corner in. Okay. So now we're going to go to the outside row. Now this row is a little bit different because we are going to do every other set of holes exactly like we did. Okay. So I'm going to do this petal, then this one, then this one, then this one. And I'm going to leave these ones blank, and I'm going to show you why. Because we're going to go back and we're going to do those petals just a little bit different. Because when you do it, when I show you when we do it a little bit different, it actually holds it all together. And you'll see what I mean when I say that.
Can I just quickly, could you make a centerpiece with this size? Yes.
Yes.
We did one. And
I did a tutorial on the centerpiece. Well, Dave and I did a tutorial, which was quite the, poop storm, but it was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, we had fun. But I did a centerpiece on the large flower board, and he did one on the small flower board. And he didn't quite finish his, because his hands are so big that it was just funny. So the next day, I kind of took it apart and redid the tutorial. So the pictures that I posted, the small centerpiece is on my coffee table, and the large one is on our dining room table, which is really nice because we have an open concept upstairs where the living room and dining room are like just one big room. So it looks really nice when it lit up. Now I have the timer lights in it too. So yesterday I was just relaxing before my live, and it was kind of dim in the room and everything in the living room, and then all of a sudden my centerpieces turned on both at the same time. It was just so pretty because I totally forgot I had put the timer lights in there. Okay, so I put one in, so I'm going to skip this one, and I'm going to put this one in exactly like we did all the rest, with the tails facing out. Okay. Ooh, that's a short one. So like I said, this is really not hard. It's not even time consuming. Throw a movie on and put your feet up. Like that's how I wreath all the time. I cannot stand in wreath because of my disability. So another reason why I made the board is because I could not do wreathing with a work frame. So I'm going to go again to this one. I'm going to cut my zip ties as I'm going. I could not use a work frame on my lap. You pretty much have to use it on the table. And that wasn't an option for me. So, and I wanted to make deco mesh wreaths. So that's where, when I started teaching, I taught burlap wreaths on the wireframe, and soon everybody got bored of the burlap wreath, and they wanted the shiny, sparkly wreaths, meaning deco mesh. And I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to teach a person that doesn't even know how to use a glue gun how to make a deco mesh wreath? Because we all know that's not the easiest thing to do, especially teaching somebody that's just come off the street and doesn't know anything. So I figured if I had something that they couldn't fail at, like if they just had to put zip tie, like put a piece of mesh in the zip tie, and they couldn't really screw it up. And
Cheryl's a little confused on this last row.
Well, the last row is a little bit different than the big one because we have eliminated those 8 outer holes. So what I'm doing is I'm doing the same petal that we did throughout the whole rows, but every other one, okay? And once I'm finished every other one, it'll make more sense when I go to show you how to put the one that we left empty, okay? It's a little more confusing to, so I left this one. Probably should have used a better color than white to demo this. But I was thinking Christmas, and then I remembered I had all these picks left, and I thought, oh my gosh, that would look so pretty.
And there's so many people that will help you.
Oh God, there's so many people. I have a gazillion tutorials. We have a great support staff that, pretty much answers your emails right away. But yeah, if you are going to use Unique Creek Wreaths, I would highly recommend joining Unique Wreath Makers and workshops, especially if you want to start your own workshops. Now, I'm telling you, workshops are where it's at because people nowadays really want to make things themselves with their hands because everything is so technological. Is that the word?
Sure.
There's so much technology out there that nobody uses their hands really anymore. So I found that people were just dying to get into my workshops. Like I would have to post a post of the date that I was going to post the workshop, and it would fill up in like 5 minutes. And I exactly like I'm teaching you guys right now how to make this, and I just showed them that way. And
are the zip ties doubled in the last row?
no, they're not. All the holes are facing the same way. Okay, they're all going this way. So what we've done is we've eliminated those outer 8 holes. Inch frame. That's the only way we could do it.
Yeah,
Again?
Just not.
And
like
Bubba's not even home.
Not like it did before.
Oh, you know what? I hate when you get to the more center of the mesh. It's really, really curly. I like the beginning of the mesh. It's more flat. Okay, one more here. Okay. So now I'm going to... Okay, so I'm done every other one around the outside. So every other one. So I'll show you. And you could pretty much, if you could pull them out, you know you've done every other one. Okay? So if they're tight, you know that you haven't missed any. So if you're making this for a customer, just go around and flick it to make sure it's not going to come up, and then you know you didn't miss any spots. And you may see if you've missed a spot, but it gets so full that you really can't tell. But I always just go around and flick just to make sure that I got them all. And if you flick it up, you know you've lost a spot. So now I'm going to go around and I'm just going to trim these tails that are just kind of sticking out of the edge here, just to make it nice and neat. Now I wouldn't trim your tails as you're putting in the petals. There's no need for that. That's just extra work. And the tails make it a little bit fuller anyways.
Cheryl got it.
What?
Cheryl, she's like, finally
got
it, thanks.
Yeah, you'll see what I'm doing in a sec, Cheryl. So now we're going to do the same way we did before. Is now the tails are going to go inwards. Okay. Now, usually, and that's going to be hard to teach the way Patsy Hazelwood showed us about zipping the... She would zip the tail of the one next to it into the zip tie. So you would grab this one and zip it into here. Now I'm going to show you a couple that way, and then I'm going to show you a couple just gluing it right to the board. So you can decide which way you'd like to do it.
Okay, do you sell the mesh, and do your boards come with zip ties?
No, I don't sell the mesh. I tried selling mesh. I got to tell you, I gave it the good old try. We're just way too busy to keep up with mesh, and it was just going as fast as it was coming in, and I just couldn't keep up. So I wanted to keep our main focus on selling the boards. So we have partnered up with Trendy Tree. So Trendy Tree is now selling our boards. So you can get the boards. So that's just the plastic ones, okay? So that's just the character and the large flower. But you can get all your ribbon and your deco mesh and everything else all at the same time. And you can also get them on Amazon the next day. So it's Amazon Prime. Free shipping if you have Prime. So there's good things going on with Unique in the Creek. And like I said, we will be having the small board. Oh, got a tail here. The small board in the Christmas tree will be in plastic, probably in the spring. We're still in talks with China. Now we do make these in Canada, but our actual mold, the real expensive thing, is actually made in China. Okay, so now I have to cut some more mesh, because I didn't quite use a whole, I need 8 more pieces, I believe, so. Hi, Tanya Sacco! She's late. I'll forgive you this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have about a quarter of a roll left. Oh, and I hate the curlies. I should know to save the outside pieces for, or the very first pieces off the roll for the outside. I've made a gazillion roses, and you think I'd learn that by now. Because as you get closer to the center of the mesh, it gets curlier and curlier. Oh, I have to put my scissors on a charger. They just die, and now it's stuck. Come on. These puppies are so old. They owe me nothing. I'm sorry. Little electric scissors. I'll do the rest with scissors. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my petal exactly the same as I did previously. Here's what I'm talking about the curlies. But this time, I am going to go in with the petal. I'm going to go in towards the center of the rose. Okay. So let's push this back. Oh, I didn't tie that tight enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my tail, and I'm going to go in this way. And zip it tight. Now, if you're wanting to, one of our first time buyers, Patsy, way back in April, I didn't zip this one tight enough. She's the rose queen now. She does the most gorgeous roses. She taught us a technique to actually tuck each of the neighboring tails into, how do I explain it, into each other. That way you don't have to hot glue the ends, which is great. But on the large frame, I tried it on the small frame. It didn't work as well because on the large frame, we do the 8 outside petals with the zip tie on the bottom of the petal. You'd have to watch the tutorial to kind of figure out what I'm talking about. But for this way, it just didn't work. So I found the best thing that worked for me when I was finished all the edges was just to put a dab of hot glue, just a small dab. Now I use Gorilla Glue, so once Gorilla Glue hits the decal mesh, it ain't going anywhere. So I just put a dab of hot glue onto the board, and with the tip of my scissors, I would just hold it down. Okay, now what she does, which is a great idea, so she would have the neighboring zip tie right here. She would tuck in this end. Hold it up a bit.
Can't really see.
Okay, I know I'm trying. It's a whiteboard on a white table. And then this one would come over here, and she would zip it together. I know it's hard to really actually explain. I do it on the large board. So if you are interested in that way, on the large tutorial, especially the 21-inch mesh tutorial, I do it that way all the time. Like I said, for the small board, just hot glue worked. Even with the small board, once we finish it, you really don't even have to use anything. You'll see what I mean when I'm done. It's just forming the outside of the rose, which once you put everything in, kind of forms itself when it's all said and done. Okay, so now I'm going in towards the center still. Okay, about a 1 inch still tail, and just zipping it. I hope you guys can see that.
If you cut the outside petals at 10 inch, would it work on a small board?
Yeah, probably.
That's patchy.
Well, even with the large board, Patsy, you do it like that. So the only thing is, you would see how the holes are different than the large board. Remember, the large board holes on the outer 8 are just 1, and we use the outside of the holes. Now, saying that, you can do this whole outside row exactly like we did with the tails coming out, and then we can use a shared hole. And we all know what the shared hole is, where you can take this hole and use it and go from around and use it with the outside of the board. And that is how I'm actually going to put my greenery in. So I'm going to zip tie even my greenery right to the board. So that's what it's going to look like. So you can play around with it. Like I said, we made the 12-inch board. I honestly have not played around with it a lot. Around here, everybody wants the big flowers for their front doors and stuff. So it probably will be a lot more popular in the spring. But right now, you can just fool around with it and do whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm just trying to teach it the easiest way possible. And you all know that, you know, once you start playing around with these boards, you can, you know, I had one customer who made the poppy all by herself, just fooling around with mesh like I do. There's like, you could pretty much recreate any flower you want. So like I did the daffodil, and we came up with all these flowers after flower season, like after flower festivals and everything. So we didn't even hit the market yet with the festivals. So it's really exciting this year because we're going to be able to hit, you know, the daffodil festival, the rose festival. Now I did the daffodil for Cancer, because the daffodil, the yellow daffodil, is the symbol of cancer research. So I did that for the Cancer Society and the Children's Hospital and stuff. But they check out in your local areas, because there is a flower festival for everything. So if you come to a rose festival with a whole bunch of roses, you can pretty much normal wreath. And with the plastic boards, as long as you're using deco mesh, which is plastic as well, you can put them outdoors. Now, I made a flower wall, which you guys probably, you know, if you didn't see, scroll down to around June, and I made this huge flower wall. I had around our pool. We have a big lattice wall at the back of our pool in our backyard, and it was just plain there. So I couldn't put a garden or anything, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make a flower wall. And I made this gorgeous flower wall, all in hot pinks and yellows. And I forgot to take pictures. You know what, I should take pictures tomorrow, honey, even though the pool's closed and everything. My flowers are still out there. I've left them out there to see how they fare.
Some are a little worse for wear.
Yeah, I want to see how they fare, and that's with the wooden boards. I want to see how they hold up, like, through winter and everything.
But you also use different types of mesh.
And I used different types of mesh. So I used like really cheap mesh, you know, that you can get from like Paper Mart or wherever. Although Paper Mart mesh isn't bad. And then I used expensive mesh. And definitely the expensive mesh, well, last time I looked, won. Because the cheap mesh, the color faded. And like the pink almost looks white. And I even sprayed them. I did spray them with UV spray and everything. And like the turquoise ones that I did. Oh yeah, I did a couple turquoise flowers on the end of each of the wall. And the turquoise flowers I did with the more expensive mesh. And they are still really nice turquoise color. So I am going to take a picture. But I was just doing myself a little experiment just to see about the different meshes and how things will, and how the boards would hold up. Now, like I said, those were the wooden boards. The plastic boards, or the polypropylene they're called, the recycled plastic, they will hold up fine. I was told by the manufacturer of a plastic company that they will hold up to weather. Okay, so now once we, oh, I missed one. I have one right here. Once we get all this in, I'm just going to tack down the edges. Or you can zip them as you're going into the next door neighbor zip tie. But you have to have some coordination to do that. Oh no, I didn't miss one. That was the one I was doing for the greenery. Let's see. Make sure these are all. Oh, I did miss one. There it is. I knew I seen one under there. So there you go. Make sure you check that you got all your petals in.
Bird seems happy, loves you.
Oh, that bird. You know what? It only chirps and starts talking whenever we're live. I swear to God. Every single time. You don't hear a peep out of it any other time. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you guys upside down how I'm going to just put a little dab of glue. Now this might be a little difficult. So I'm just going to put a little dab and just put the petal corner and hold it. Sometimes I just go around with my clothespins and just hold it. I'm going to put, and this is just forming that outer part of the rose. I'll grab another clothespin. I use clothespins for everything. They come in so handy without burning yourself.
Oddly enough, not for clothes.
Not for clothes, no. I don't hang my clothes. God, who does that?
My birds started talking to your birds.
Oh, really? That was like I was watching a live today, and the person's, it was Michelle, Mrs. Monkey. She's doing a live, and her dogs are going ballistic, and then my dogs go ballistic, and then the neighbor dog's going ballistic. It's like Domino's. Oh.
Domino's.
Not Domino's Pizza. I hate the curly ones. Why do they have to roll them so tight? The mesh. Do you know what I mean, honey? Do you? Do you really know what I mean? The curly, and when it's not flat, it curls up on itself. So, instead of burning my fingers, I'm just putting clothespins so they can just hold it in the right spot. So I'm just going around and putting each corner in, and that, as you can see this corner was popping out, but if you tuck it in, this one is going to hold it in place. Hope that makes sense.
I'm sorry, Barbara. I'm only quiet because Lori wanted to kind of teach this one so people
Yeah.
can learn. So she wanted to.
We didn't want to do sillery.
Don't worry, Barbara.
Dave's here.
I haven't changed. We'll be back at it again soon.
You can tell a joke. Do you have one ready?
I don't have one ready tonight.
No joke. Sorry, guys. No joke tonight.
Does it take a whole row of mesh, of 10-inch mesh?
No. It takes about 3/4. 3/4 of a roll. Now, I find...
My dogs are like my husband, untrainable. Says Michelle.
I find sometimes, though, do you guys find that sometimes you think, hey, wait a second, I don't think there was a full 10 yards on this roll. Or you'll be like unrolling your mesh and then all of a sudden it's like not on a full roll. It's like, wait a second. I didn't cut that. All right. So I've tacked down all my corners, which I could probably take off now. This is the cheater way. Like I said, you can watch the...
That's the little teeth picking her.
Aww, that must be Tanya. You can tuck them into the corresponding zip tie beside them. And again, you can't use 21-inch on this rose. It's just the holes are just not space proportional to do the 21-inch. And then when you do 21-inch, you guys have seen how ginormous the 21-inch mesh gets. So in 21-inch mesh, I hardly ever use 21-inch mesh. But for the roses, it's my favorite. I love 21-inch mesh. You get the whole color depth in there and the size. Now you can see how it's sort of folding and making that outside formation of the rose.
Oh, thanks, Peggy. She said we're both awesome.
Oh, thank you. Now, this is where you can go in, and as some of these corners don't like to, some of them like to they have a mind of their own. So if you tuck them in and it pops out still, just, you know what, show them who's boss. Dab a little bit of hot glue and hold it. Then it won't pop out anymore. if you're selling your rose, you might want to do this anyways. That way, you know, the customer doesn't have to do it and keep fixing it.
Do you know the size of the finished rose?
Well, we'll see in 1 second.
And the bow down kind of fizzled rosily because my hands are too big. No.
The bow down.
The bow down.
Yeah, we tried the centerpiece, remember? And the centerpiece wasn't a very good one for him to do. I'm sorry, that was my fault because he's got ginormous hands. He doesn't have normal man-sized hands. I'm telling you, these things are like bear paws.
So we're still gonna do the bow.
Yeah, we'll still have our bow down because he's the big bow daddy.
Tanya must be on here.
Our Tanya?
Yeah, because she just answered about approximately 18 inches.
This one, now this is a very full mesh. I don't know if you guys have ever...
This one's not going to be 18 inches.
Well, see if it was using...
We'll measure it when we're done.
Yeah, if you were using like normal deco mesh, you know, just the metallic in it, it would probably be a little bit smaller than this one. But this deco mesh is quite coarse, and meaning like it's very plasticky. I don't know if you've ever worked with snowball mesh before, but it is very plasticky, and it holds its shape beautifully, as you can see. Like, look at this rose. It's almost like perfect. Can you guys see that? I wish it didn't have a white background. Do I have a blanket or something I could put over the table? Actually, I should probably get one. But anyways, there's the rose. Now, I'll probably go around, because I'm very particular. I like to just put little dabs of glue to make sure those corners are going to stay in where I want them to stay in, not where they want to go. But once you make that umbrella shape, they pretty much keep their form. Now, if I measured this, it is... What? It is approximately 20 inches. So, yeah. So if you're using normal deco mesh, you're looking at about 18 inches. Okay. Now I'm going to, I don't see any petals missing, so it looks good. I'm going to put this greenery in. So I just used one of these holes. And I'm just going to put the stem of the greenery right against the board, and I'm going to zip it tight. Okay. And then pull it so you can have the zip tie head into the hole, or you can just keep it to the outside of the frame. Ooh, look how pretty that is. So I'm going to do a few of those around. And these are just picks I picked up at AC Moore. They were $1 originally, and then they were 50% off, and then I had another extra 20% off coupon, so they came out pretty cheap. Here. Almost done. Thanks for staying with me. And I think I'll do one right here. So you can pretty much, well, that's not kind of centered. I probably should have did it over here if I was going to do just 4, but that's okay. It's all good. And last one. Now I could probably put more in. I do have a whole bag full. I might put more in later. Okay. Now if you were selling this, I would just hit it with a little bit of hot glue. So again, it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Now you can pull them out straight so you can see the green with the little white snow on it. And there we go. I'm going to hang this on my wreath board so you guys can have a look at the finished product. A little bit easier than on my table. I'll be right back. 1 second. There's my dog full of deco mesh. Okay. Okay, honey, can you see the finished?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Is it not pretty or what? So this would be like a perfect Christmas rose. So that's it. That's the smaller one. Like I said, this one's 20 inches. The finished, or if you use just normal deco mesh, it would probably be about 18 inches. And I've done roses on the large board, and they can get up to about 30 inches if you use 21-inch mesh. Alrighty. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, these are on our website, uniqueinthecreek.com. And that's all I got. Anyways, thanks for joining me. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Bye.